It has it all: heartbreak, obsession, drugs, and even a death threat. This video will cover all of these and more, as we learn about the beef between esteemed authors Yasunari Kawabata and Osamu Dazai, in what has to be the best feud in the history of Japanese literature. Let's start by understanding three things about Osamu Dazai. First, his love of Ryunosuke Akutagawa, another famous Japanese author. Born in 1909, Dazai had an interest in literature from a young age, and idolized Japanese literary giant Ryunosuke Akutagawa. And when I say idolized, I mean it. He would doodle Akutagawa's name in the margins of his school notebook like a love-struck teen, and took hundreds of pictures of himself, copying the famous Akutagawa pose. Honestly, I think it's fair to say that Dazai didn't just love Akutagawa, he obsessed over him. The second thing you need to know about Dazai is that he was an incredibly talented writer. He would go on to become a leading figure in an emerging genre of Japanese literature called the I novel. The I novel was a story told not only from the first-person perspective, it was also heavily influenced by the author's own life, making it semi-autobiographical in nature. Dazai's most famous work, No Longer Human, or Ningen Shikaku in Japanese, is a good example of an I novel. The last bit of background you need to know about Dazai is that he did not lead a very virtuous life. He was a depressed, drug-addicted alcoholic who frequented brothels and had multiple affairs. Dazai began his self-destructive ways after the death of Akutagawa in 1935, and later became addicted to a morphine-based painkiller called Pavanol when he got appendicitis. So, in short, the three takeaways are: first, Dazai really loved Ryunosuke Akutagawa. He was truly obsessed with the guy. Second, Dazai was a really good author, brimming with talent and emotional depth. Third, Dazai had a really bad lifestyle. So, now that you know who we are dealing with, let's break down what actually happened. There's a new writing award up for grabs, the Ryunosuke Akutagawa Prize, given to one up-and-coming author. Guess who wanted to win this award more than anyone else in the world? Osamu Dazai. The man he idolized, the man he obsessed over. He could win the award made in the honor of that man. Dazai desperately wanted to win this award, and at first glance he seemed like a shoo-in. His writing was top tier, and he was rapidly gaining popularity. It was if the award was made for him. There's just one problem, and his name is Yasunari Kawabata. Kawabata was already a prominent figure in the literary world when Dazai was just starting out. He would go on to be the first Japanese person to win the Nobel Prize in Literature, and his most famous novel is Snow Country, which I plan on releasing a video about soon. His style of writing and life are polar opposites from Dazai. The emotion in his writing is subtle, and he didn't lead a very exciting personal life either. So Kawabata was on the selection committee for the newly established prize and vehemently opposed selecting Dazai. Why, you may be wondering? What could possibly be the problem? He was a depressed, drug-addicted alcoholic who frequented brothels and had multiple affairs. Oh, yeah, that. Kawabata deemed Dazai unworthy for the award because of his moral character. He wanted the first ever winner of this incredibly respectable award to go to a respectable person. Kawabata wrote about the decision. As I see it, there is an unfortunate cloud over his life at present, which regrettably prevents his talent from emerging straightforwardly. So even though Dazai's writing was worthy of the award, he himself was not. At least in the eyes of Kawabata. Needless to say, Dazai took this loss really well, and used it to turn his life around. No. Are you kidding me? He was enraged, absolutely livid. So much so that he wrote an article in a literary magazine attacking Kawabata's own lifestyle, To spend your time raising birds and going to dance concerts, is this such a splendid life? I mean, to me, that actually does sound like a pretty nice life, but back to the feud, because Dazai didn't stop there. Later in the article, he went on to say that he would stab Kawabata. He never followed through with this threat, but it was clear that he hated the man. This isn't the end of the story, though. At this point in Dazai's life, the only thing that outweighed his hatred for the committee that rejected him was his love for Akutagawa. So he tried to win the award again. He wrote desperate letters to the committee. He poured out his heart, begging them to consider him for future awards. But it was too late. He missed his shot. He was an established author now. The prize was only for authors near the beginning of their career. Dazai was ineligible for any future Akutagawa prizes, dooming him to never win the award he wanted most. Dazai would go on to try and undermine the Japanese literary establishment by constructing a movement diametrically opposed to their values. Of course, Kawabata was part of this establishment and worked to build on its traditions. When you read a work from Kawabata, much is left unsaid. He'll lay out a scene, and you'll feel the emotion subtly exerting their pressure from under the surface. Some scholars have described Kawabata's work as haiku in the form of a novel. Each word included is just as important as each word left out, and you are left on your own to understand the image he gave you. Dazai's style is much more forceful and passionate. His feelings are intense, and he doesn't hide them from the reader. All the good, all the bad, all the pain, it's all right there on the page, and it sucks you in. Both authors would leave a lasting influence on the development of Japanese literature moving forward, meaning that in a way their feud is still ongoing, taking place now in the form of opposing literary movements and writing styles. The drama around the Akutagawa Prize and the fame and legacy of these two writers are what cement it for me as the best feud in Japanese history. But I want to know what you think. Do you know of any better feuds or rivalries? Would you have given Dazai the Akutagawa Prize? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I love talking about Japanese literature, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well.